Hey, good afternoon, Black Lions. Once again, we appreciate all the questions you're sending in. A few of them I've answered point to point, and then these are some of the questions we thought would be better for the larger group.
So there was a question posted in the email yesterday in reference to the promotion board. I will address that question tomorrow on a separate video. So first question for the group is, why is the guidance changing every day on everything from PT to restriction? When is it going to stop?
Okay, great question. And like I said, it's not lost on me the fact that it seems like we publish new guidance or updated guidance every day. Hey, just briefly, hey, we're a third ID unit that lives on Fort Benning. And so it behooves us, and it's our responsibility to not only nest ourselves with third ID guidance, but also General Brito's guidance here at Fort Benning. And what we saw in the last 2 weeks is each headquarters was putting out additional restrictions about every 2 days. And as a task force, we would typically try to follow the most restrictive guidance. And so sometimes what that meant was almost every day we're publishing an update, because third ID would publish something that would be a little bit more restrictive. We'd put that out, and then Fort Benning would publish something a couple days later that was more restrictive, and we'd put that out. And we also have to see what makes sense for us, because while we're a FORSCOM unit, we live on a TRADOC post. So some of that initial guidance may have been a little bit more directed at the TRADOC population, and then also some of the guidance that General Agudo put out for 3rd Infantry Division was more specific to Fort Stewart. So we had to kind of translate that, and it wasn't mean to us here at Fort Benning. So again, not lost on us that we're putting out guidance almost every day, and I think it's going to continue for the next at least week. And then I think once we get to kind of a steady state operations here for our responses, you'll see that guidance come out a little bit less frequently.
Sir, next question. When will the PCS and TDY restrictions be lifted?
So I'd tell you the simple answer is we don't know. I know when that official word came out back on March 13th, the date that was put out was May 11th. I would not hold hard and fast to that date. I assume that the Department of Defense put that out as just kind of a marker on the wall. But just as we do in the Army or in all military, we like to make decisions based on conditions. And so I would suppose, or I would make an educated guess, that our senior leaders are going to look at the conditions and see if we are set to reduce or alleviate those PCS and TDY restrictions. What I would encourage you to, though, is just stay informed, listen to your chain of command, and then I would not start making hard and fast plans for May 12th at this time.
Sir, if my soldier isn't feeling well, is he to inform his chain of command of symptoms either relating to other sickness or COVID-19?
Yes, absolutely. So really the step should be inform your chain of command and go to sick call. Okay, so what we don't want soldiers to do, especially after hours, is they think they got something and they're talking to their family, emotions start to get high, and they start to think, hey, we got to go to the emergency room. That's the last thing you need to do right off the bat, unless it's for life, limb, or eyesight. Okay, but if you're feeling symptoms, or if you're just sick and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a symptom of COVID-19, by all means, inform your chain of command and go to sick call the next day. All right, we've done a couple things with sick call. We've consolidated to task force level for 2 reasons. One, we want to expose less of our medics to potential sickness. And then 2, we want to reduce our consumption rate for our medical protective equipment. And so by consolidating sick call to task force level out at Black Lion Field at 0630, we're able to meet both of those goals. And then we're also doing a weekend sick call at 1000 inside the task force footprint. But by all means, please do not go to the emergency room first. You can call your chain of command, you can call your company medic, or if you're a dependent, by all means call the nurse hotline.
Sir, the next question is about curfew. So is curfew enforced for everyone, or is it just for barracks personnel?
Yeah, so in accordance with General Number 1 in the Task Force Restriction and Movement Memorandum, it is just for barracks personnel at this time.
Sir, next question is, what measures are we all taking to work besides 6 feet distance and small groups?
So what are we doing to kind of prevent the spread of COVID-19 outside of just the 6 foot distancing, the physical distancing? So a couple things. First and foremost, we've gone to a reduced mission essential posture for our personnel coming into work. And what does that really mean? It means about 15 to 18% of the task force comes in on a daily basis. And some of that's just to run current operations and our duty platoon. And then the companies are assessing what's the mission that we need to get accomplished today, and what's the minimum number of people we need to bring in to get that accomplished. We're increasing the amount of times we're cleaning high contact or high traffic areas. So all the company operations facilities should be getting cleaned twice daily, and then areas at the task force headquarters are getting cleaned sometimes up to 3 or 4 times a day, or after high use measures. Starting tomorrow, based on updated guidance from Third ID, PT will become an individual event, and there'll be no first formations. And then lastly, we're doing some other things too. For instance, the shopette here, we've posted courtesy patrol there, and that courtesy patrol is, one, ensuring that there's no more than 10 folks that are going in the shopette at any given time, and then 2, they're actually opening the door with a gloved hand, so that only one person is touching that door handle versus potentially hundreds or more throughout the day. So we're doing quite a bit, and I'll tell you, some of the best ideas for how we get after this is being thought about by soldiers and small unit leaders. So I know the mechanics are doing some new steps into maintaining physical distancing for them down there, and I know I've talked to other soldiers too that have done some interesting, innovative ways to accomplish the mission while preventing or reducing our risk of spreading COVID-19.
So the last question is, if a spouse tests positive for COVID-19, is there a specific location that they are quarantined at?
Yeah, so if you test positive, you actually go into what's called isolation. And so I'm going to pause for a quick second here to show the definitions of seclusion, quarantine, and isolation. So if someone does test positive for COVID-19, you'll go into what's called isolation. And that's going to be done as a family member in your home. Now there's some CDC guidance as to things you can do in your home to mitigate the spread to other potential family members in your home. And I would encourage you to go out to the cdc.gov website to get the guidance on how to quarantine or isolate yourself in your own home. Hey, once again, we appreciate all these questions. The task force email address is right here, and I've answered some questions point to point, but I thought these questions were appropriate for the larger group. Thanks for what you do. Hunt with the Pack.